I'd like you to debate me. No, thank you. Why not? Because neither one of us will change our minds. You don't know that. When's the last time you changed your mind after watching a debate? It has been a while, but I do watch lots of debates, so you're a perfect example of why they're useless. No, I've just exposed myself to lots of viewpoints, which is why I'm quite confident in my own. I'm still not interested. Sounds like you're afraid of losing. On the contrary, in my mind, the winning move is not to play. You don't want your ideas to be challenged? I do, but you don't offer that. Really. In my experience, debaters aren't interested in finding the truth or ways that people can cooperate. Nor are, in general, I think people who watch debates. It's entertainment, disguised as intellectual activity. So what do you think my motivation is then? Like you said, you want to win. Prove you're smarter. Show your opponent is stupid and anyone who supports them by association. We're not solving any problems here. But hang on, some problems are caused by people holding stupid ideas. And some ideas are very stupid. Hey, whatever you say. So you're just abandoning political discourse altogether? No more reason or logic? You can't abandon something that isn't there. No one reasons their opinions from first principles, or at least most don't. 99% of the time, people just adopt the belief of the group they're in. That gives them status, a sense of belonging, a sense of righteousness. They're not going to give any of that up over one logical inconsistency they're exposed to in a debate. They'll forget about it. It's not worth it. Sure, some people do that, but I've thought about these things. That's wonderful. Don't you think it's healthy or important to consider other points of view? In principle, yes, of course, but it's nuanced. It's about how you consider those ideas. I think it's a waste of time to debate every diabolically stupid idea out there. I think it's actively harmful to platform stupid and hateful rhetoric because it normalizes it. Okay, so what do you suggest? What do I suggest? In your opinion, how should we talk to people who have different opinions than us, if not for debate? Aside from reading and education and all the obvious things, good faith discussion. I feel like you're splitting hairs. To me, a discussion is collaborative. It's us versus the problem rather than me versus you. It's a bit idealistic though, isn't it? Is it? Why do you think it's important to debate people? There's many reasons. To expose bad ideas to scrutiny. Right. Why? Because I think that if people hold bad or outright false ideas, that's harmful. Great. Why? Because knowledge matters, and we live in a democracy, and how each of us lives our lives has a huge impact on those around us. Isn't that important? I think it is. So if we agree on that, then surely the aim is to find better ideas and to convince people to change their minds to align with these better ideas. I can agree with that. How effective is debate at doing that? I think it's an important part of a much larger process. Let me put this another way. If a bad idea is repeated 9 times as much as a good idea, which do you think will quickly become the more commonly held view? If all else is equal, probably the bad idea. So what good is proving that you're right? You can win an argument, sure, but for what? But to my mind, that's a clear argument for more debate. You want to give more airtime to better ideas. But even that's not a guarantee. There have been so many occasions recently whereby 2 political sides have clearly watched the same video of the same debate and each left thinking that their person won. It's sport. People just see what they want to see. Sometimes, sure, but there's always going to be a group of people who are willing to change their mind. And if it's about repetition, then sure. But it ends up not working that way because people follow certain pundits, and because of algorithms, you only get shown stuff you either vehemently agree with or vehemently disagree with. You get shown stuff that you disagree with, which is the stupidest, most hateful version of that idea ever, which allows you to put all those people in one basket of things I don't need to think about. And it's pointless. But if you don't debate and contest bad ideas at all, how do you expect people to be introduced to better ones? I resent how you unwittingly concede ground when you engage in debate. Suppose you were going to debate some flat earthers. The very idea of hosting a debate of, is the earth flat or round, suggests some sort of equivalence in reasonableness of these 2 viewpoints, which there isn't. Sometimes fringe conspiracy views are just that because of centuries of work of showing that it's a dumb idea. And you undo all of that work in the name of engaging in free debate. But again, what if bad ideas are the mainstream? If everyone was a flat earther, wouldn't you be dying to debate them to prove the earth is round? Probably. But the earth is round, so it's pointless. So you're only happy to attack bad ideas rather than defend good ones? It's a bit different with scientific ideas because with them, at least in principle, you can empirically show one idea is more correct than another. I think moral and political arguments are more difficult. Do you think debates enforce the status quo or threaten it? I think debates enforce and encourage simplicity. They're good for ideas that sound right and for reinforcing the ideas and views of people who have already made up their minds. Does it occasionally change someone's mind? Sure. But I think people change their minds more often than not for socio-economic reasons. And I think the truth is often nuanced and won't be found in debate. You think we rationalize after the fact, most of the time. And look, most debaters and pundits have picked a political side. Their paycheck depends on them not changing their mind. If there's a financial incentive for them to be dumb, or to spin things, or to see things through a certain viewpoint, that's just what they're going to do. I see the points you're making, and I hear you, but if they're so dumb, why can't you beat them in a debate? Aside from my lack of debate skill, I think it's because proof or truth don't always exist in catchy one-liners. Sometimes it takes a while to construct the truth, or it's nuanced, or multifaceted, or just outright hard to explain. And even if you can explain it, there's a million ways you can undermine it in a 5-minute or 10-minute exchange. You can undermine sources, or question authority, or just outright use ad hominems. Cognitive dissonance. That's another one. And again, most people aren't looking for the truth, they're looking to be right. So in your ideal world, we'd have a situation whereby people would sit down with researchers for a few hours and reason from first principles? Sure, I would try that sooner than a debate. But even then, as much as I love discussion, I also don't expect people to reach across the aisle. Sometimes it's just too dangerous to. I still think it's really important to debate people. Sometimes especially if it's hostile. Outspoken, well-reasoned advocacy for things like abortion rights or the rights of minorities is a crucial part of them coming to pass and establishing them as normal and important. But again, I think most people don't change their minds because of words. They do it because of other pressures or other exposures and experiences. And lots of debates I think are just actively harmful. I think most vaccine debates are harmful. I think debates with fascists are harmful. Look, maybe the best argument for engaging in debate is that if you don't, then bad ideas just go unopposed. Yes, I agree with you, there are bad faith actors out there, but that's the point. That's why you need people to engage with them in this way. But I don't think anyone has to or should be expected to. So often, debate just mutilates reason into sport and turns people into targets. If debate's good for anything, I think it's just good for a stalemate. Yeah, well, not everyone's down for a discussion, and that's the problem.